So I've been getting a lot of emails. What's going to happen to Chud the Builder when he go to prison? Is he going to prison? Is the booty bandits going to get to him? Why do you think he's racist? Well, I got an answer for all that. Let's start with, why do I think that he racist? Honestly, I don't think Chud is racist. And I'm going to tell y'all why. I know racist guys. I've been to the joint. I've been to the pen. I've been around real racist people, okay? Chud seems like he just having fun. It's a sick, twisted, demonic way of having fun, but I don't think dude is really racist. Quick story. There was this white guy named Donald. I forgot his last name. But in 7th and 8th grade, Donald was tortured and bullied and harassed, right? The school I went to was mostly blacks, maybe 99% black, maybe 1% white, if that, okay? Donald, now there was other white kids there that didn't get bullied, but for some reason, Donald always got bullied and harassed. Now, Donald became a state patrolman. He became a police officer later on in life, and he was racist. In fact, me and him had an interaction. I didn't tell him who I was because I was one of the ones that was messing with him, but I didn't mess with him a whole lot because I wasn't a bully. But he pulled me over and, you know, he put me through the ringer, and I could tell he had that racist vibe about him, but I got it. I get it, right? Because Donald's experience with black people was horrible, right? So I understood how he would grow up feeling some type of way about black people. And, you know, it is what it is. Just like if a black person if a black person went to a school where it was mostly white people and the white people was dogging the black person out, bullying them, picking on them, that black person will grow with some type of resentment inside of them to make them feel some type of way against white people. And then as they get older, you know, if their situation don't change or these white people don't, you know, treat them better and they get in the place of authority, or they going to use it. But that's how I feel like Chud the Builder is not racist. He's just a clout demon, right? But nevertheless, let's get to, do I think Chud is going to prison? Well, he shot somebody, right? And he shot himself. There was a gun involved. Somebody got shot. On the real, he ain't going to, if he do go to prison, it won't be for more than 10 years. Cause see, this is like a social media trial. You know, this is a social media case. And honestly, the way they've been doing Chud, when he first got locked up, I was like, nah, he gonna get out because they raised $1 million and all this and that. But the judge made him stay, right, off of this. I think he ran up a tab for like $350. He did a dine and ditch. A dine and ditch. He basically went into the steakhouse. They told him to leave because they seen his content and they ain't want him there, right? So he left, but he didn't pay the bill. Now, I'm going to be real with y'all. If I'm at a restaurant and I'm eating and I done racked up a $300 bill and I'm not doing anything, and they tell me I gotta go, I'm not paying neither. I'm not paying neither. But nevertheless, they held him. He was on bond. He was already out on bond because of that, right? And that's a misdemeanor, right? So they held him off of a misdemeanor. And when that happened, I said, oh, the powers that be is calling this shot. Chud ain't going, they making a example out of him. Like, I don't know if it's, I know it ain't no Republican Party doing that. It got to be somebody in the Democratic Party that's calling these shots. Like, nah, don't let him out. We need to make an example out of him. Because any other circumstances, he would have got out, right? He had $1 million bond. The people behind him raised that. And they just kept him off of a bond. Yeah. So if that would have never happened, y'all, I would have said like, nah, he getting out. But no, the powers that be, which I don't know who it is, they making an example out of him. And now I want to change something. I don't think he getting 10 years. I think he probably get maybe 20 years. Maybe. I don't know. Now, what will happen to Chud? Because this is what y'all are here for. What will happen to Chud, the builder in prison? It can go a couple ways. Number one, the easiest way for him, let's just say they give him 20 years, right? And he got to do the whole 20. The easiest thing for him to do is go to solitary confinement, the whole, and stay there for about 2 to 3 years, right? Work out, eat, get his mind right. That way, you know, the controversy and the drama surrounding him will kind of die down, you know, because people forget about people, you know, out of sight, out of mind. So he would have to go to the hole for maybe about 2 or 3 years, you know, for everything to die down. Then he come out, and like I said, I don't think he's racist. I don't think he's racist at all. So I don't see him getting out the hole and clicking up with a white gang. I just don't see. I think he'd just be just a regular white cat up in there. That's the first scenario. The next scenario, he get in there, he don't go to PC, he don't go to the hole, and he try to get with a white supremacist gang. You know, the Aryan Brotherhood, the Dirty White Boys, the Woods. More likely, he probably go with the Woods. But the problem with the Woods is like, I done met some Woods, okay? And the issue with him joining the Woods or any other racist organization is that in prison, it's a respect thing, right? There's absolutely zero tolerance for him to go in there and call a black person the N-word. If he does that and he's a part of one of these organizations, a war will pop off. Or a war will not pop off. It'll be the quickest war ever. And I'm going to tell y'all why. Because his own people, let's say he joined the Woods or whatever, and he go over there and just straight blatantly disrespect somebody black, right? There's for no reason just call him you an N-word and you chimping out. Because that's his slogan, chimping out, right? Well, the brothers is going to start chipping out on him, right? But what's going to happen is if he calls somebody the N-word, he getting popped off on immediately, right? But let's just say he don't. His own people is going to get a hold of him and violate him. And I'm not talking about sexually. Well, it could happen. It could happen. But normally they probably just beat him up and get him out the game. And now he green lighted. Anybody can do anything to him. And that where we get to him getting his cheeks busted. So if he get with an organization and he start chimping out and they violate him and put him out the gang or their organization, now the blacks or the whites might pimp him out. Let me tell y'all a quick story. This happened in 1999, right? This happened in 1999. And I just got sent up north to a maximum, right? I got in this cell with this dude named Red Fye. Red Fye. Redfye. I don't know why they call him Red Fye, but that was his name, Red Fye. Right? So the cells that we was in, they was like the old school bars, right? Where you could look straight ahead and you could look at somebody in your cell, right? So, he's schooling me, he giving me the game, like, what to do, what not to do, who not to be around, and, the whole prison rundown, right? So, this black dude getting in cell, right, with this lifer, this dude was like, he was a massive dude. This dude was maybe about 6'8", maybe about 320, 325. He wasn't muscular, he was like fat and with muscle, it's like he was a big, healthy, big linebacker type of dude, right? And this black dude, this short, young black dude, he maybe about 23, 24, maybe 160, 170, right? And when we was going on lockdown, it wasn't an annual, it was just, you had to go in for the night, whatever. So me and Red Fye that's talking, right? We kicking it. And he was like, hey, look at this. I'm like, what? He said, just watch. So when they get in the cell, the dude grab them and they get to wrestling, right? Now, at first glance, I'm like, man, this dude too big to be trying to wrestle with this dude, man. So he was like, no, what he doing is he been doing this for the last week, like, maxing them out. I'm like, maxing them out? He was like, yeah, he trying to figure out his stamina because he's gonna, well, I don't want YouTube to flag this video, but he basically is measuring how long it take for this guy to get tired, right? So he's wrestling with him, wearing him down. And I was like, ain't nobody tell him like, hey man, you need to get out that cell. Red Fye looked me right in the face and was like, hey Donta, you gotta mind your business. I said, what? He was like, bruh, what they got going on is what they got going on, bro. You can't get into that. I'm like, so y'all don't warn people here? Y'all don't tell people like, hey man, look out? He was like, man, F him. If that motherfucker, if he that stupid to be taking stuff from him, and I said, whoa, what you mean take? He was like, man, he been feeding this dude ever since he got in that cell with him. I said, so you mean to tell me nobody approached this young cat and said, hey, this dude is a lifer. This dude like dudes. Don't take nothing from him. Get out of his cell, man. Right? Man, that ain't my motherfucking business. I'm like, oh, okay. So the next day, y'all, like clockwork, we all get locked up. They start wrestling again. Now, this time, usually when they wrestling or whatever, he'll like pin him down, then he'll get up off him. This is a really big guy. But this time, y'all, I guess he choked him out. Like really choked him out like this, right? And then the dude went unconscious. Red Fye was like, hey, Donta, look out. Right? I'm like, what? He was like, man, go on get in your bed, bro. Go on get in your bed and cover your ears. I'm like, what? The big dude that choked dude out, he put this white sheet up. So I'm like, I know he ain't about to do what he did. My bunkie was like, Donta, just close your ears, man. And I was like, man, hell no. He like, man, Donta, don't do it. He knew what I was about to do, right? I was about to go to that cell and be like, hey, guards, man, this dude in here been this dude. This dude in here been this dude. I was walking toward the cell. My bunkie grabbed me, grabbed my wrist, and I snapped. I said, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" He said, "Donta, if you do that, them guards ain't gonna do nothing, and there's gonna be a target on your back. Now me and you gonna have to deal with this motherfucker, man. Mind your business. The guards ain't gonna do nothing. They know this is what he do. In fact, they put dudes in the cell with him to punish them. You don't know what's going on." And I sat there and I thought about it. And I was like, damn, he right. He right. Now I know some of y'all gonna be like, what you mean he right, Donta? In prison, sometimes it ain't what it seems like. In prison, you might think you'll see somebody get poked up, right? And you'll feel bad for them. Not knowing this is the uncle, right? That's poking the guy. When I say poking, I mean stabbing. I'm not talking about what y'all thinking about. But you would think that, like, you'll feel bad about the guy just getting stabbed up. But what you don't realize, this is the uncle, right? Because this guy was violating a 3-year-old and uncle family, and he's here for that, right? And uncle just caught up with him and gave him that bow, 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 right? That's why they say mind your business. Because if I would have got up on that door, hey, guards, hey. And the guard that put dude in that cell, because they know who this, as time went on, I seen that where they put inmates in the cell with this guy to be punished, right? And in that way, get punished in that way. And I thought about it like, damn, that's crazy, right? Now, back to Chud the Builder. Honestly, I don't think dude is really racist. I think he just a clout demon, clout chaser. If he is racist, I don't know that man life. He believed, and I guess because he was making a lot of money, trolling black people, but I guess he thought he was above the law. And well, as he see the same, because he made a Twitter post not too long ago, and he said, my last act of defiance is going to be leaving a black man on the ground dead, and I'm getting out of prison. And then the people in the black's going to march afterwards. Well, I'm going to say this. Chud the Builder, if that's how you really feel, understand this. You are the problem. You are the problem. And if that's how you really feel, and if you didn't grow up with blacks doing you bad, doing you dirty, and you only doing this because they black or what you heard about something, then you don't never need to get out. And what will happen in prison is that eventually you will get, because his mind is is wonky. It's kind of stupid. So I can see him probably falling off into one of them racist organizations, and they end up putting him out. And then a black guy, a booty bandit black guy, will get up on Chud and turn him out, to the point that Chud don't like black people, black men particularly, maybe. And well, he might start loving the black man after maybe a 3 months of beatings and submissions. I don't know. But if he really racist, y'all, it'll come out. But it's gonna come out in the worst of worst ways in prison. I'm out.